Question 10a says, in a town, Chief X resides 60 meters away on a bearing of 57 degrees from Palace P, while Chief Y resides on a bearing of 150 degrees from the same Palace P. The residence of X and Y are 180 meters apart. Illustrate the information in the diagram. That's for question A. We have to illustrate this in the diagram, and like we know, this is a bearing question, and for us to solve the question we need to take our time and understand it. We can do a rough work before we do the main work. Let's now illustrate the diagram. We'll start with, in a town, Chief X resides 60 meters away on a bearing of 57 degrees from the Palace P. So the bearing from the Palace P is 57 degrees. We have our 4 cardinal points, and we know how our bearing operates. This is the palace. You can name it P. So it says, in a town, Chief X resides 60 meters away on a bearing of 57 degrees. We know we take our readings from the north, and from the north to the east is 90 degrees. So 57 is somewhere in the middle between this point, taking it from the north. We go 57 degrees. We can indicate it here, 57 degrees. 60 meters away we have Chief X's house. It then says, while Chief Y resides on a bearing of 150 from the same Palace P. So the location of Chief Y's house is 150 degrees. And you know, like we said, you take your reading, when it's 3-figure bearing, you take your reading from the north. And we travel 90, and 150 is greater than 90, then you travel a little bit further. We know this one is 180, so 150 doesn't get to 180, so it's somewhere around here. So we'll draw a line down. So we'll travel 150 to this point. And we know this is like a straight line. You travel to a straight line, the rest is 30 degrees to make it 180. So this small angle is 30 degrees. The question then continues and says, the residence of X and Y are 180 meters apart. So since we know they are 180 apart, there's no bearing to show the location of one to the other. So the safest thing to do, since we're still doing our rough work, is to join a line, straight line. Make sure it's directly south. That's due south of this. It's still a sketch work anyway. Which is, they are 180 meters apart. Chief X's house is here and Y is here. We have our palace here. Since we're not sure that Y is directly south of X, we can't find his angle. Normally this is 57, and if it were directly south, this would be 57 also, because we would actually say his alternate angle, because this is parallel to this line and it forms like a Z. So whatever this angle is, this angle is also, if you're very good, you're bearing, you will know if this is 57, this is also 57. But since we're not sure it's directly south, we are not sure what this angle is, but we can figure out all these other angles. We can then pick out all the angles we have, or we can derive from this certain angles. There are angles we're not sure of. Like for this now, we can figure this is now the triangle. We have triangle PXY. We can get some of the angles, and that will help us in solving. And since we know that this is not a right angle triangle, we can then know that solving anything using Pythagoras theorem will not work. And the best that will work is either the sine rule or the cosine rule. And some don't really know which of the rules to apply, but if you don't, best start with sine rule. If sine rule doesn't work, cosine rule will work. So let's find out all our angles. We know the bearing of X is 57 degrees, and we know we have to travel 57 here, and we know the total distance here is 90. From here to here is 90. So if this is 57, the remaining angle will be 90 minus 57 degrees. You can erase the E and stretch this a bit. So the left angle, we've traveled 57 out of 90. The left will be 90 minus 57, which is 33 degrees. And for the second one, remember the house of Chief Y is 150 degrees away from the palace, so we traveled 150 here. We discovered the rest was 30 degrees, and we can actually get this other angle here with this 150. There are actually two ways to get it. You see that will take this 30 here. Knowing that this angle is 90 and this is 30, the rest will be 90 minus 30. 90 minus 30 degrees will give you 60 degrees. So this left angle is 60 degrees. And we can also use the 150 to calculate it. So traveling 150, you've traveled 90. Then the rest will be 150 degrees minus 90 degrees. It will also give you 60. That means either way, this angle is 60. We now have our triangle and we know this is 33 and this is 60. We can therefore find this total angle. With the fact that we know that this is 33 and this is 60, and this is actually a triangle, let's show it so you can understand. Let's say this is a triangle. We have our plus P here, we have our X here, we have our Y here, and we have this angle here. Part of this is 33, the other part is 60. So we can add the two of them together to get the total angle. 33 plus 60 degrees will give us 93 degrees. Therefore, this big angle is 93 degrees. So we've actually illustrated this in a diagram, and with our diagram we can start solving.